Hello and welcome to the Canadian Edge. It is time for another knife review. Going to be looking at a buck knife today, and this buck is the Buck Langford. Buck 251 Langford, sorry about that. And this knife has a blade length of 3.4 inches. Open, it is 7.875 inches. And closed, it is 4.5 inches. The steel on it, it is a budget steel. It is a 7CR. Buck often uses a 420 steel, so now they've gone to a 7CR for some of their knives. And some of their top-end knives, you can get some of the high-quality steels on them as well. But this one has 7CR, and the weight on it is 3.7 ounces. The handle is a G10 and stainless steel liners on it with the open spine. And the pocket clip is also stainless steel. It is a right hand only tip up carry. So sorry lefties, can't change that over. And it is also a flipper opening, so you got the flipper tab there. And it has a ball bearing pivot in it. It has liner lock so that you can close it. And it also has jimping on the back of the blade there for your thumb to give a little bit of purchase. And for those of you who like lanyards, it does have the lanyard hole at the back for you to place a lanyard. And it does have a slight finger choil up here, more for sharpening than for actually putting your finger there. You could put your finger there, but just remember it is right up against the cutting edge of the blade. But you could use it as a finger rest. It is large enough if your fingers aren't too large, but definitely large fingers, watch out because you run the risk of cutting them. So I like buck knives. I've had a few buck knives in my day, and they've always been very reliable. If you saw the unboxing video of this knife, you were seeing that I had some trouble with it. I figured out what the problem was, and it was that the liner lock, as you can see on this one, it comes over quite a bit as well. But the liner lock was coming over so much, and it has a little detent in there. It was putting so much pressure on the blade that you could hardly flip open the blade. And I thought about taking it apart and trying to fix it, but then I thought, it's a brand new knife. I just took it back to the store and exchanged it for this one, and this one works really well. So yeah, I was quite surprised because normally Buck puts out good quality stuff, but you can have a bad one in any batch from any company. So yeah, this one definitely works a lot better. One thing I liked about it, the blade, as you can see, lines up pretty much right down the center, as close as I'm going to get it. And there is no blade play on it. Nice and solid. So that I expected from Buck, that they would give a solid knife. And now I've just put fingerprints all over the knife. Clean that off. But I like this knife a lot. It has a few qualities that I really like. The aesthetics of it, they're good aesthetics, but it's not like it's you don't look at this knife and go wow. It's a very simple design, very simple, straightforward edges. The blade, it doesn't have any fancy design in that to it, but it's still a decent looking knife. And the thing I like most about it is it's good in the hand. It feels nice in the hand, good ergonomics. I like the jimping. It is somewhat aggressive jimping. I don't know if you can see the jimping on that. It is somewhat aggressive, but it gives you a really good purchase with your thumb, especially if you do use the finger choil for close edge work. It just, that jimping gives you a nice grip with your thumb. It's not too aggressive that it's painful, but you definitely notice that there's something there. And they did put a bit of a bevel in here, concave. It does give you a bit of grip, but it's comfortable to put your fingers there, and makes the handle a little more comfortable. And the pocket clip, if you remember, I did the Buck Decatur not too long ago, and it had a crazy pocket clip on it that came way out, and maybe I'll do a comparison between these two knives at some point, because they're very similar yet very different. But it had the pocket clip came way up and out and was a real hot spot on the hand. This is much better. This is what they should have put on the Decatur, is a pocket clip like this one. It is much better. The pivot on this, it's not bad. It's fairly smooth, not as smooth as some of them, considering it is ball bearings. I was hoping for a little bit smoother. I know the Decatur is a little smoother opening, but it opens every time, so that's all that matters. It hasn't failed to open for me at all. And I did put a little bit of pivot lube on this, so it is a little smoother than when it came out of the package. And I'm sure over time using it, it'll break it in a little bit more, and it'll be even a little smoother yet. So the pivot is good. It's not fantastic, but it's good. And like I said, the main thing is it opens every time, and it's good enough that it'll do almost a drop close. So it's close to being a good pivot on it. One thing I don't care for, and if you've seen other videos, you'll notice, I don't like that the pocket screws stick way up. I prefer them to be flush mounted. They made the pocket clip flush on the inside, and I wish they would have done the same with the screws, because it is wear and tear on the pocket, and depending on your pocket, how thick it is, your knife, it may only go in, up to the screws. And there's already a bit of knife sticking up. I like the deep carry on the knife so that people just see the pocket clip, but not the end of the world. It doesn't affect how the knife operates and how it feels in your hand. So let's do a size comparison. We have the Ontario Rat 2. So you can see that the Langford does have a bit of length compared to the Rat 2. It's probably an inch and a half longer than the Rat 2. And the Elementum by Civivi, it's bigger than that as well. And one last one, we will put out the Spyderco Tenacious, and it has a bit of length on the Spyderco as well. Not a whole lot, but it does have a little length compared to the Tenacious. Sharpness. I have used this for opening a few things, and it has worked well. And you can see it definitely cuts paper. Clean that out of the way. And the good old zap strap. What's it gonna do with the zap strap? I've yet to find a knife that just goes through these things. Oh, well, that went through actually quite easily. It did good. So, of course, that's a little different than when the zap strap is holding in an item, but I think this would do fine with going through a zap strap, and through that cord it goes through without too much difficulty. And through this nylon cord, again, you just pull it back and it goes through. So they do give you a good sharp blade when you get it, and the nice thing about 7CR is that it will be easy to sharpen. It just won't hold the edge as long as, say, a D2 or S35 VN or that, but it is definitely easier to sharpen. So it is a good knife. Like I say, the pivot works good on it. This would be a great everyday carry for anybody who likes the slimmer knives. And the handle's a good size. I have probably a medium size hand. So you can see a larger hand. You'd still have a bit of room on there if you had the bigger hand. So you would have a bit of purchase on the knife. And the smaller hand, it's not too big. Again, the slim design comes in nice, that if you had a smaller hand, it would still fit your hand quite well. And it's got a nice slim blade. It would be great for slicing, and if you use it camping and that, slicing up your veggies and that at mealtime, or cutting rope or different things. So, and Buck, of course, with their warranty, you know, you can do damage to Buck as long as you don't do stupid things to it. Buck will take care of you, and I've heard from a few of you that Buck has a great customer service policy, so I haven't had to deal with them personally, but that's what I hear, is that they're easy to deal with. Oh, and I forgot to mention that there is a bit of skeletonizing on the liners. I don't think you can see it. Maybe you can. Anyway, there is a slight bit of skeletonizing on the one liner, just to lighten it up a little bit and make it lighter. So if you're looking for a slim EDC, something easy to carry, something that's, I'd say, attractive, this might be the knife for you. And if you're a fan of the Buck knives, it's nice. Buck does have a few knives out that I've seen that are quite nice. But for whatever reason, they've gone with the nail nick on them, which isn't the end of the world. But flipper and thumb stud and that are so much easier to open and a little quicker, in my opinion. But I think they've done a good job on this knife. I think this would be a great everyday carry. It fits well in the pocket. You don't notice it that much. The tab does stick out a little bit, and you do notice when you bump it, but it has all smooth edges on it, so it's not like it's going to damage your hand at all when you put your hand in your pocket. And otherwise, the slim design makes it so you don't really notice it. And as I say, it feels good in the hand. It's a comfortable knife to hang on to. I think you could do a lot of jobs with this out in the garden, out on the work site, or just everyday use, doing different things that you might do throughout the day. So I would recommend this as a everyday carry knife, and at the price that it is, this one is like $40 Canadian. So you get a Buck knife with the Buck warranty, and that for $40, that's pretty decent. And I'm pretty sure if you don't abuse it, trying to dig things out of cement and stuff like that, that it would be a a knife that would last you for a long time. So that is the Buck Langford. You can check them out at any place that sells buck knives and give them a look. And I think, as I say, that you'd enjoy this as an everyday carry. All right, thank you for joining me on this review. Hope you have a great day, and until we do another one, you stay safe and stay sharp.